Hello, welcome to Conversations with the Mayor. I'm Sarah Hayden, and I'm here with Mayor Donna Holaday. Welcome.
Nice to be back, Sarah.
Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day, and I know it's busy.
Always.
So, with the change in leadership, I think that's a good place to start with Charlie Baker in and Patrick out. I know that's, probably causes some changes to what's happening in Newburyport. Maybe you could fill us in on some of the things that we could expect.
Well, I think for the city and for most municipalities right now, our biggest concern is the looming significant budget deficit for this fiscal year. And I know that the legislatures have stated very clearly that they will not cut local aid. I know that Governor Baker, having been a former selectman and really understands, I think, the struggles of municipal government and, everything primarily being based on property taxes and, how much we depend on local aid. And we're still not at levels we were from 07, 05, and that, we're slowly moving forward. And so local aid as well as Chapter 70 funding, our school funding. I'm encouraged by the conversations that we're hearing that we don't expect 9C, mid-year budget cuts, and we're all sort of holding our breath that is, the direction things are going in. The other piece is that we worked very hard with our former state rep, Mike Costello, and with Senator Kathleen O'Connor Ives to get $5 million into the transportation bond bill. From there, it had to be transferred to the governor, then Patrick's capital plan, and from there transferred to the Mass DOT's capital plan, which is where it sits. And so
That's from Newburyport?
That's for Newburyport for the intermodal facility, the garage. And so we also have another $2 million in federal money. So we're sort of cobbling together the money we need for to create the garage intermodal facility. And so I asked Governor-elect at the time, Baker, where things stood with that, and he said, give him a couple weeks into the administration and he'll have definitive answers for us. So we're waiting to see what that means. This is obviously very different pots of money, and the transportation capital plan is really important to the state. So I'm hoping that many of the projects in that plan will go forward, including the one for Newburyport. So we should know soon.
So money has been released. I read a quick article in the paper about the Chapter 90 money,
and this is
different from the...
Right. Chapter 90 money is a separate account that is dedicated specifically to roads and sidewalks in municipalities, and it's all based on the percentage of your roads. There's another formula in terms of how they determine how much money you are to receive for your roads and sidewalks. The problem has been the last several years, the release has been so late that we've lost half of the construction season. And you know as well as I do, being a resident of Newburyport, that the roads and sidewalks are a high priority for my administration, and we've worked really hard to make advancements in where we, the number of roads and particularly the number of sidewalks. And I am certainly grateful to the City Council for voting to allocate 50% of the meals tax towards sidewalks. So we're starting to see a turn. People are starting to notice that sidewalks are being done, that more sidewalks are being completed. And I joke that when I first was a city councilor in 2002, our sidewalk account was $30,000. Wow. I mean, and you can't do anything with $30,000. So now we're upwards to 450 to, depending on how much we get in this Chapter 90 money, how much we want to put towards sidewalks, part of the meals tax. We have now $60,000 set aside as a line item in the budget. We've also transferred more money from free cash into that account as different projects are needed. So the good news is that Governor Baker released the Chapter 90 money. We went from 517,000 now to 770 roughly $1,000. So that's a significant improvement and certainly much needed and appreciated.
I recall interviewing Mayor Mead. I think our show was called Newburyport Today. It was like when she was in, I think it was like in 2000 or something. And we had gone, Elizabeth and I would go out and have questions for the mayor or on the streets or something like that. And people, it was always sidewalks.
Mm-hmm.
Sidewalks, they want better sidewalks. So it's interesting. Now, when I left the house today, my husband said, "You know what's going on with the garage?" And I said, "Actually, I don't know, but I'm going to interview the mayor and I'll ask her what, maybe some more explanation about the garage and what's happening."
Well, we have been in negotiations with New England Development, and obviously when you're in the middle of negotiations, those are, private, and once negotiations are finalized and memorandums of understanding and agreements are signed, then we anticipate rolling out a presentation to the public. We had hoped to do it before now, but we're, and again, we're waiting to be sure that the state is still willing to release the $5 million because we really need that.
Right. Now, do you have a location?
Yes.
I've been in a fog, I think.
Well, there's the need for a garage has been studied for
a long time.
Mm-hmm. We've had numerous sites and, numerous studies, and, it's been cited on Green Street and Prince Place and down over here somewhere and Titcomb Street. And about 5 years ago, the city council voted to support the garage being built on Titcomb Street. Originally, the configuration was going to be where Lombardi Oil is and come down in sort of an L-shaped, which was going to be hard in terms of getting the number of spaces we needed. And New England Development was planning on building a hotel where the fuel is now, the old fitness factory site.
Yep.
But now they've decided to move the hotel across the street. And so that opened up that space, which is a much better space to build a garage, which gives you an opportunity to really dress it out architecturally with brick and make sure it matches with the downtown. We're still hoping for a couple storefronts. And where we are is the price point for what the land costs, for number of spaces New England Development will need, and to get the federal money and the support that we need to from Mass and Federal Transportation. We've brought in the Merrimack Valley Regional Transit Authority, and they have built garages in Lowell, Lawrence, Haverhill, Amesbury, and then manage these properties, which I think is very helpful to the city because we don't want to be in the garage management business.
Right.
And so we have to work out an agreement with them in terms of proceeds going back into, the maintenance and upkeep of the garage. But this has been a very important component of the whole master plan, if you will, for the waterfront. And if we are going to expand a park down in the NRA lot, which is something that everybody has wanted for forever, then we have to take the cars off of there. And we're already in, difficult times right now for parking, whether it's invitation night or huge festivals or, just busy weekends in the summer. I mean, parking is a challenge. I think paid parking has helped because it's moving traffic, but we, will continue to keep on-street free, and has generated enough revenue for us to be able to do some major work downtown, which we didn't have the revenue for, which is all paid parking money goes into that. It also will help us in terms of any type of funding gap, being able to bond against parking revenues if we need to. I'm taking a trip to Washington the first week in February to try and see if I can advocate for a little more money to help this project. So
So you mentioned the MBTA being the manager. Are they the ones that...
Merrimack, not the MBTA, the Merrimack
okay.
Valley Regional Transit Authority. They're the people who run the bus services, Bus 54 that goes through the city.
Yeah.
And people say, well, we're going to have a bus terminal down there. It's not really a terminal. What it is, it's a place, it's a bus stop where people can get tickets.
Yep.
and, hop on the bus. So we're not going to have, a big parking lot filled with, these big buses parked down there, but it is a place for buses to stop, for people to buy their tickets and, passes, monthly passes, whatever. So it also, as I said, takes a lot of the parking off of the waterfront, hoping to take, maybe 50% of the cars that are there now. So we're shooting for 300 spaces,
Wow.
plus or minus, depending on how we can make it work. And
It's definitely needed.
yeah, so that's where we are. So we're, waiting on the governor's go ahead. We're finalizing our memorandums of understanding and agreement with both New England Development and the Merrimack Valley Regional Transit Authority. Then we have a RFP on the street for an owner's project manager, as with the school projects, with, our water sewer plants. Any project that is over $1.5 million, you have to have an OPM, owner's project manager. So that RFP is out, and then we have one out for preliminary and final design. And so, everyone's talking, what is it going to look like? That's the process where we will, do a preliminary design, have input from the public. At that point, we'll have the agreements done. We'll know about revenue. We'll know, we'll have a lot more information rather than what we're presenting today, which is about all we've been able to say to the public. It's been in, the daily news. We've presented a little bit at my updates to the city council, but until we finalize these legal docs, which are hopefully close, then we'll be able to do a much more formal presentation for the full public.
I see. So on the topic of transportation, I had read recently something about I had written it down, smart growth project at the train station.
Yes.
I couldn't get the whole article because I couldn't get on my online daily news. Don't have my password.
Ah.
Annoying.
And sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah, so
but
if you could fill me in on
yes.
that, and people watching, that would be great.
The MBTA parking lots, obviously they have a lot of land down there, and they don't need all the land they have. So they talked to the city about doing what's called a transit-oriented design, which is where you build smart growth, which is mixed use, residential, some other retail, cafe, something.
Interesting.
In the model. And you need less parking in cars because people are using the train to get to and from work. They're also right on the rail trail, so to encourage people to use bikes, walking. It begins a process of us fixing up that gateway of our city, which is so important.
Right.
And one of the things is we're talking about 80 units. They will all be rentals, and we're working somewhere 20-25% of those will be affordable, which means they are based on 80% of the average median income. And, we'd like to get a little deeper affordability if we could. And so we're working with the Newburyport Affordable Housing Trust, and actually met with Minko, Lou Minicucci and his staff last night, who presented to the Housing Trust, just to give them a better sense of the model. So moving this project forward, we decided that what we wanted was a 40R zoning, which is all part of 40B, which is the, you've heard it called the anti-snob zoning. And, this is where developers can come in, and if you're not at 10% of your affordable stock, they can come in and push through a affordable housing development, where this is more of a collaborative approach, where it is mixed use, and also as you open units, the state pays you money. We like that.
And this is by the train station.
Yes.
Those two big parking areas.
Right.
Down there.
Now, there is, out of the 11 acres that are part of the site, there really is only about 1.5 acres that is buildable because of the wetlands. So that creates challenges for this development, but with higher density, 4 stories, 80 units, there will be a couple, I think there'll be 10 3-bedroom units. So it's really exciting. We are in desperate need of
We are
rental
definitely.
here. And so, we've been working with them about what it's going to look like. It's going to be called One Boston Way. And, we've done several iterations of, just preliminary design of what it would look like. So again,
Exciting.
it doesn't necessarily match downtown because it's not part of historic downtown, but we want it to be compatible with the architecture in our city. And Lou and his staff are being, very cooperative with us. And we had a consultant from the state who does all the smart growth initiatives come in to meet with members of a couple members of the planning board, the housing trust, planning office, and go through. It's a very complicated and complex zoning ordinance that will be before the city council at their next meeting, 40R, and then it has to wind through a whole series of reviews, public information session, public hearing, a joint meeting of the planning and development subcommittee of the city council jointly with the planning board. Then it goes back to the council, both boards vote on it, and then first reading, like a typical ordinance, published, second reading, and then it becomes law. So we're hoping by the end of March we will have approved the 40R. And it's not just that one piece that will be part of the 40R. It will be a little broader so that there's opportunities for us to potentially add some more commercial and retail residential development around that traffic circle.
Nice. Yeah, it definitely needs something. It's used to be a hot spot with Dunkin' Donuts, but sort of. How about an update on the Senior Community Center?
Oh, it's so exciting. It is so exciting. They're working on the second floor. The walls are going in. The framework for the elevator is in. They're hoping within the next 7 to 8 weeks they'll have it, buttoned up enough so that all the work then turns inside. I think Castagna Construction is just doing a great job. We have Hiri as our OPM, Owner's Project Manager, representing the city's needs. They meet every Thursday, as a team to go over where they are in terms of construction. We're just slightly behind schedule, but things are going well. We do have a funding gap and have a great team of people working under my Director of Policy Administration, Peter Lombardi, with Roseanne Robillard, obviously the CEO Director, Richie Eaton, Dottie LaFrance, Don Green, Olga McFarlane. We've got a good, strong team of people who are working together to with some other people who've been, helping, like Brian Callahan and some other people. So there's a broad range of people who've been working with this group to help design written materials. We just sent out an ask to, key people that we felt would be interested in supporting the Senior Community Center. And so we've got to do the naming rights like we did in the school. We've got to make up about a $400,000 gap, and have no doubt that we'll be able to do that by the time we reach end of construction.
It's very exciting.
It is. It's going to be beautiful.
Do you think you're going to be able to do something with the waterfront? Because then you've really got quite a feathered cap there. Because all of these things when I moved here in '93 were topics. I mean... The
schools,
the garage.
But it's just, everything was crumbling. Everything was crumbling when I, took office. And so I came in with a very aggressive agenda and, pulled together, a really strong team on both, city and school size. We're working together. The city council, school committee have had joint meetings, which is, something that has never happened in the past, working on fiscal issues. We, are finding ways to, fund these things that need to happen, and we're moving forward, and it's it's very exciting. I know that taxes have gone up, but they have to. When you have to fix municipal buildings, you have no choice. I know that it's been hard for the abutters. We're still working through some of the issues there. But, we we had to do this debt exclusion, for
The abutters in that were
around
around
the
Bresnahan.
Bresnahan School. There's still some issues, outstanding issues that we're, working through, and we'll continue to work through till, we get to the best possible solution we can. They've been through a lot. That was a huge construction project. Now they've got another construction project.
Right.
I mean, granted,
Where's
it's
the-
closer to High Street.
Is the school entrance? I've only gone into the school the old way, like it used to be the back of the Bresnahan, which is now the senior
Main
community
entrance.
center. So where is the main?
The main entrance is really North Atkinson.
Oh, I
You know,
see.
that
Oh,
is.
so coming in then going up that.
And then you go in the side door, you can walk around to the front, or you can, because of the construction though, we're encouraging everybody, to come in the North Atkinson side. Buses are the only ones who are really coming in, from High Street to drop off in the morning.
So that the road off of Low Street, there's like a road that kind of looks like it goes right up to the back of the building. That's not. You can't
No,
go that
no,
way.
no. Absolutely not. That's
I
a
do see-
one-way out,
Yeah.
and this has been an issue with the neighbors. And
Yeah.
even though there's signage there, people cannot drive through there into the school. It's dangerous. It's not the way you're supposed to go. It's just a little loop around to come in through North Atkinson and Park, because I know people love the playgrounds.
Yeah.
The playgrounds are gorgeous.
I haven't been over there. We should get a camera over there.
You should.
And get some pictures and maybe get into the as soon as they get inside and get some pictures of the senior community center as well.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put together a program for that.
To do that, we will. We'll do that in the spring.
That would be great.
Yeah,
'Cause we
that'll be
haven't
wonderful.
Really done a tour. I know people, haven't gone into the new school. They don't have a reason to necessarily, but it'd be nice for them to see.
Well, we
that
had
as
over
well.
500 people, the open house we had before school started. And then
I heard it's beautiful.
it's magnificent. It is. It's absolutely magnificent. And I know the teachers are very, very happy. Administration. I mean, the kids, they stopped me on the street. Mayor Holaday, thank you so much for my new school.
That's nice.
It's wonderful, but it was a huge community effort
Yeah.
to make this happen. And, I know that I think people learn better, work better when you're in the right environments.
Yeah.
It's bright, it's cheery, it's state of the art technology. I mean, we had a 1-to-13 ratio of, device to student, and now we're at 1-to-1.1.
Yeah.
And it's all brand new
Yeah.
technology. And we've also banked money as a replacement. And how do we move forward with all of the requirements for, high stakes testing that is going to be electronic, and, all the kinds of things that,
understand.
Curriculums are online, kids need to be using devices. So we've got a whole variety of Chromebooks and MacBooks and Apple Carts and, these wonderful short throw projectors, and the teachers are happy with their tablets. They can write on the whiteboards. They can write on their tablets that goes onto the board. It's very, very exciting. And we've done one community program to demonstrate the technology, and there was so much going on that night. We didn't have a great turnout, so we'd like to do that one more time.
Yeah, if we can work together on planning that, we'd be able to set it up so that we can get it out there more efficiently, because we were sort of spread out, and we weren't as aware of how it was going to be set up. But that was a good program, and
it was
there is
wonderful.
A lot going on,
right?
And I think people would like to see all of the things. Don Skane did a wonderful job. I'm like, are you hiding under something? Because I haven't heard you present like that. It was really good, and there's a lot of stuff.
And Don Skane, I'll tell you, in terms of the tech problems we had at Knockmullen, renovation is so much more complicated than building a new school, building new. And he and his staff deserve gold stars. I mean, they were just, day in and day out, long hours, working, with the construction team, Gilbane, and all the subs. And it was a tough project.
Wow.
We're still, got some things that we have to finish up, but like the parking lot needs to be redone, and we've got a little more, punch list here or there, but it's such improved. And
the last time we had a show and did the conversations with the mayor was about the field and the vote. So it turns out that has going forward as well.
Right. And it was a miserable day for an election, that's for sure. But I'm very pleased that, the bottom line is that the majority wins, and the 1.7 that we had originally as part of the Bresnahan School project, again, had to be separately voted. And now we can put the full-size baseball field that we displaced when we built the new school. And, baseball really, really needs this. And begin work on upgrade. Our track is a mess. Drainage is horrible on Fuller Field. And, we have an all-star track team, and we have, just incredibly talented youth in our community who are doing amazing things in sports. And these fields are not just for the schools, they're for youth sports and adult teams, and being able to bring in other teams if we could, expand our track and, make that work a little better.
The design looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And if people are interested, there is, I think it's on the city website. It's on our PortMedia YouTube. You can see I think all the questions that should have been asked were asked. I think that it really gave a lot of information, things that I didn't even know were questions. And I just think it was a great meeting. It was a great forum. I think everything that, it seemed to me that people who had major concerns got their questions answered, and I think it worked out well. I mean, I thought the field should go forward, even though my son has moved on now; he's in college. But I think it's good for the community. You have these beautiful schools, and you should have the fields fixed. Right. They were terrible.
And I think one of the other pieces that people are concerned about is that why do we keep giving money to things and then everything falls apart? Right. And one of the things that I have insisted is that every step of the way, everything that we rebuild, renovate, build anew has maintenance plans attached to it. Yeah. We will never be in this position again where, it's
right.
Awful.
It's not good.
It's not good. Not a good situation. So, it's good.
We're working on that here at PortMedia as well.
That's important also.
It is. It is really important. Since we're all technology, it's really quite difficult to keep everything, to maintain everything.
Right.
It's constantly changing.
Right. And keep the upgrades
and
going. Yeah. Right.
It breaks, and it's simple as that. So, yeah, we're going to be doing the same thing. So another building, what about the Brown School? I've been over there several times for, to see what's going on at youth services, and is there any further development on that? Is it going to remain the rec center, or is that not known at this time?
Well, I feel very strongly that it needs to remain the Newburyport Rec Center. I think it's a perfect site for the rec center. It provides the classroom space.
Right.
And we can redo the kitchen. It has the gym. Needs some work, needs some money. But again, we don't want to go ahead and use some of the money from the sale of the Kelly School right now until we have a more holistic picture of what we're going to be doing at the Brown School. We have a request from a school committee member who felt that it was important that before the school committee votes to decommission it, that we just do a final 90-day, let's evaluate what our schools need, and is there any educational use that we could still hold on to that building for. Certainly that's fine. I support, this is the time to do that kind of review. My only concern is that the building is 1928. Its heating system is hanging on by a thread. Some of the windows are really, really in bad shape. The building's not, it's not awful, but it needs, quite a influx of money. And we also need more housing for seniors. We're looking at artist studios. So we have meetings scheduled with developers to take a look at the feasibility study. We're going to visit the artist studios in Amesbury and sort of get a sense of whether or not this would work. We've met with artists who really want this to happen. So there's a lot more conversation that will happen with the community and the neighborhood about the Brown School.
That sounds great. I had enjoyed the conversation, and I had a lot more questions and things to talk about, but we're getting the wrap it up sign, so
it goes by so fast every time, Sarah.
So thank you very much. Thank you for watching Conversations with the Mayor, and we'll see you again. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. But you've done
Always.
a lot of building. Good gracious.
And more to come.
Yeah, I think it's great.
The harbor, the transit boater facility is so neat.